All right, what is up? What's up, YouTube? So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how to take action even when you don't feel like it. But it's not going to be some simple little step-by-step formula. I'm more just going to rant about the stuff that I see has worked extremely well for me over the past 10 years as an entrepreneur, really over the past 5, where I've done very well for myself in terms of being able to consistently make money, consistently provide for my family. I was able to retire my wife. I have kids. I'm not worried about money, but it's because I know how to take action every day on the right things. And I still have enough free time in the evening, hang out with my kids, hang out with my wife, have fun. I don't have to stress about money. Don't get me wrong, I still work my ass off. And yes, there are moments where I'm extremely challenged. But again, I want to get into how to take action. But first, I'm going to get more into the mindset. And then at the end, I'll give you some ideas. And then I'll give you, if you want more advanced training on like specifics and all that, it's fine. But here's what I'm going to start with more of the mindset. I'm sure you've watched mindset videos before. I'm sure you've, been hyped up before, and I'm sure it wore off. I can guarantee you that it wore off. It's because there's this idea in self-development that's a big misconception. A lot of people think, okay, I have to equally be pumped up and have like my why, my attitude all like jacked up. Yeah, awesome. But then I also got to know these skills, right? And people are always trying to find this blend between both. The answer is it's not really a blend. It's not really 50-50. You got to be 100% clear on who you are and what you're doing and why you're doing it. And then also, you got to have a 100% clear strategy of something you trust. So every day you can be getting like the bite-sized chunks done. So there's a bunch of concepts that I've got recently from just either conversations I've had with people, some of my mentors, and I have some mentors who make millions and millions and millions of dollars. So this is information that you're getting from me, who's verified it and tested it for myself, and it works. I also am willing to take time out of my day to make this because my bigger mission, give you my little 10-second explanation of my mission, is I want to give you the best content in the world for free so you can level up, make more money, have a better life. And then down the road, we can work together on cool things and actually change the world so our kids are inheriting a better world. That's why I do what I do. So let's get into it. Okay. First concept I want to talk about is Grandmaster mindset. So in chess, there's people called Grandmasters. They're extremely good at the sport. And they see, well, I don't know if you can call it a sport, but let's call it a sport, whatever. They treat it like a sport, right? And I played chess with some really good people, and they just run laps around me. But can you do that with your life? Are you clear every single day on what you need to work on and what it needs to look like, but also how you're approaching it? Like what I would call grandmaster level in life is when you have permanent and consistent motivation that doesn't phase out. And in a moment, I'll give you a really cool concept on how to get the work done even when you don't feel like it. But again, I'm explaining mindset, grandmastery level. Okay. Now that ties into the next concept I want to teach you, which is 20x factor. I got this from actually Navy SEAL book. There's this guy named Mark Devine, and he is a Navy SEAL, but he's also an entrepreneur, and he's made, I think he's lost 5 businesses that are all doing, millions of dollars per year. And I'm not the biggest fan of the fact that Navy SEALs are turned into killing machines, but nonetheless, these guys can do something crazy. So in one of his books, he was explaining how in the training they break you down so much that you find your 20x factor. And this is something that I do with my teams. And this one time, I'll give you a quick story on it. I had one of my top guys. He's one of our sales guys. He kills it, but I've seen him develop massively over the years. And we did this exercise one time. We call it a Masogi. But again, this is about that 20x factor, figuring that out. And we did this challenge to see how many push-ups that we could do. We did it specifically, like on the minute, every minute for an hour. We each committed to an amount of push-ups, and he committed to 10 every minute. Right? I think I was doing like 6, so he's like smoking me. And then we got to the end of the hour, and part of my challenge was I wanted people to understand when they think they're dead and there's nothing left to be able to then do more. And it was a very cool experience. And so we did another hour and all that. Anyway, he ended up doing like, what was it, 1,200 push-ups? No, well, just do the math. So what? Let's do some quick math, right? He'll tell you a story sometime. I had him on my podcast one time, but he did, yeah, so 10 times 60, yeah, times 2, yeah. So he did 1,200. Plus he was doing crunches at the end. Why am I bringing this up to you? Is because he's just some normal dude, some younger guy who had the right environment and the right standards he was held to, where he was then able to find his 20x factor. And to this day, it still has an impact on his life. And that was, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Point is, when you can figure out what that 20x factor is for you, realistically, you're not going to figure it out on your own. You're going to need people who can actually hold you to a higher standard. Again, that's part of the reason I'm making this video, is because if you're willing to watch this and actually take notes on it and understand this, you can unlock a part of yourself that you let die when you were young. At some point in time, the world beat the shit out of you, whether physically or going through school, or you failed at something, or you got rejected by the girl you thought was the one, and your life went to shit, so to speak. But really, you accepted it. I want to help you figure out how to unlock that, but then use it for what's best, not just some bullshit. So here's the next concept I want to share, part 3, right? Is getting in the zone without distractions. So here's a really cool, I'm going to start getting into more tips now, but again, I'm giving you more mindset as well. In terms of being in the zone, it's fun to be in the zone. It's when your dopamine's firing, you're in that flow state and everything. But then we go into fear of losing the zone. So sometimes you have great days. You're like, dude, I killed it today. It was great. Like I did everything I wanted to do. I gave it my all. You left it all on the field, so to speak. But is that the average day, or is that a lucky day when that happens, right? Was it by design, or did it just luckily happen? So getting in the zone, here's one of the coolest things I've figured out for myself is actually make a list, and I call it my distraction cheat sheet. And it's a note. Technically what it is, for those of you who are hardcore, like, how do you make this note? I have a Mac and I have an iPhone. So I use Notes app, the classic one, the one that loads really quick. That's why I use that. Because I tried Notion and all that stuff, and there's a little delay. I know myself very well. I like Notes because it just opens right away. And I pinned the note. How do you pin a note? Look it up on YouTube, or just freaking press it down, and it will give you the option to pin it. So I have it pinned. I have like 12 notes that are pinned. And that way it's easy to access. My distraction cheat sheet is I literally write out specifically what will pull me out of the zone. Could be as simple as, hey, I need to have water at my desk. And sometimes I'll get thirsty and then I'll forget. So I'll be like, oh, I get thirsty. So I'm writing down the physical thing that's happening. Guess what happens? There's 2 benefits to that. One, I can now design my life so that I don't have these like things that are easy to resolve, that doesn't pull me out of being in the zone. So then you can get way more work done when you're in the zone, right? So I write that down first so I can get it resolved, and I can actually just take the actions to make sure that happens, right? Or I was like, another one was notifications. It's specifically with my Gmail, because like typically twice a day I check my Gmail, but sometimes I check it more, right? Because I'm not always the most vigilant person every single moment of every day. And I would notice that I had the little notification button in the corner. I will never, ever let email or text or Facebook or anything pop down. I don't let it do the banner notifications, but I did have it in the corner. I would notice in that corner, I would notice the number change. And it was like an impulsive thing, right? So I wrote that on my distraction cheat sheet. Was, oh, the icon of the Gmail app. And then I clicked it. So I'm like writing the very specific thing that distracted me. As I did that, it was a game changer, because then I removed it, right? I had to take whatever 2 minutes, go into settings and find a way to take that off, whatever. It takes some effort to do, but now that has prevented me from falling off many, many times. So that's another example, right? So yeah, getting in the zone without distractions is freaking phenomenal. It will help you take more action even when you don't feel like it, because guess what? You're gonna more just at a baseline see, oh, cool, I can take action. Like, this is good. Okay, here's another idea. So here's number 4. I call it overcoming inertia. So inertia is that old, physics idea of an object in motion tends to stay in motion, and an object at rest stays at rest. In the same way, you are in motion in your life. You have inertia, but with a lot of BS. For example, if you constantly are like not on the same page with your girlfriend or your wife or partner, whatever, or when you wake up in the morning, you have certain thoughts that start popping up. Like, I challenge you tomorrow, when you wake up, catch your first thought. I dare you to try. It will pop up. You can almost see it pop up, especially when you build your awareness. You will see the thought come up. And it will probably be some thought based on fear, rushing, or on some level, you're like, I need to do something, like I'm not doing enough. It's gonna be something like that, most likely. Okay. And you might think, oh, well, I should just listen to abundance meditation. So that way, when I when I wake up in the morning, I think of abundance. No, you don't think of abundance. Abundance is something that's lived and it's a mirror back to you. Abundance should be something that is just ever present in your life. You have to engineer that because you were not programmed for that, most likely. So, overcoming inertia means you are going full speed ahead, but probably in the wrong direction. Or you're stuck like in traffic and you want to go full speed ahead and you've actually worked on yourself, but you're at the point where you're stuck in traffic. And you're in the wrong freaking lane. So writing that out, getting clear on what that is, and figuring out where you're going, again, so simple. Have you done it recently? Do you have a list of what to do? Now, again, at the end of the video, I'll explain something called the second brain. It was a training I made a while ago. I think I put it on my YouTube, but I'll make sure you have the link. It's a Loom recording where I actually explain how to build what's called the second brain. So you don't have to think and worry about the stuff that you have to do. It's actually in your system. It's either in a to-do list or your Google Calendar or a blend of both where it's actionable and you actually just get the right shit done. Now, there's that. Now, next, I want to talk about this epic concept, right? I like making these videos because I am always studying things. I'm always learning. I'm constantly a maniac for learning and wanting to really uncover what is the truth of this world. So there's a very interesting concept, and it's called quantum deep learning. And this was by a guy who's part of what's called the effective accelerationist movement. It's EAC. If you've ever seen this, it's like E/ACC. And people on like Twitter, well, X, whatever they call it now, will have this. And it's people that are set their party stance is that AI is here to serve humanity and they're here to push AI as fast as possible. I think it's reckless to do that, but nonetheless, I'll study these people because I want to see how are they looking at it. Because there's something about it's like when you cross domains, you can sometimes find a lot of the gold. For example, if I take a concept from AI research, but I apply that to how I look at raising my kid, I might sometimes have a breakthrough if I can see that because again, everything in life is interrelated. So, for example, they're talking about this idea of quantum deep learning. So, deep learning is essentially how a lot of these AIs are built. And I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole of explaining all that to you. But it's basically the way that the computer works is it's able to achieve a goal and it can get creative in how to achieve the goal. That's how, like, you have those chess people. Well, earlier to my first point, the grandmasters get beat now by the AI or like the AI AlphaGo thing. Watch the mini documentary on that. It's mind-boggling. So that the computer is able to leverage its computing power to find more effective ways to hit the goal. That's what deep learning really is. And I'm sure there's some AI nerd out there who's going to be like, oh, that's not actually what it is. Here's the definition. But that's the point of it, okay? You are an AI. Your mind is like an AI. Obviously, I know you're not a freaking robot computer, but it's the same way that these AIs work is the same structure as your mind. You can study Ray Kurzweil, and he lays it all out in his books. Now, their starting point to it and their intention behind it is messed up, right? The whole transhumanist movement, I won't go into that. That's other videos I'll make. But nonetheless, this deep learning idea is when you can understand your goal and your mind is actually on your side, it's a tool, you can come up with 1,000 different ways to get something done. Then your job is to discern what's the best way to do it and to not get lost in overanalyzing it. But now quantum deep learning was from this guy, I forget his name. I think he's from Chile or something. He's got some Spanish sounding name. But he was saying that he studied physics before he got into studying chemical engineering, or sorry, computer engineering. He was studying like laws of thermodynamics. So he was taking how you can make these computers like infinitely more powerful through quantum computing. Quantum computing is basically a way to go beyond just ones and zeros, which is kind of old school computers, like my computer I'm filming this on right now. And you can then have way more computing power because of how the structure of the computer is built. So he called it quantum deep learning. Why am I bringing this up? Is because you as a human being, quantum physics still applies to you. Your body is a computer. So when you get this set up right, back to the whole point of this video, right? How to take action even when you don't feel like it. You can engineer your body computer in such a way so you don't have those thoughts anymore of, oh, I'll put it off till tomorrow. Now, it's a process. It's going to take you time. It's like if you want to build a computer, you can't just, plug in a few things. Like you have to build the infrastructure. What I am saying is this is a fact. This absolutely can happen in your life is you can become a quantum deep learning machine, in essence, where you're able to have your mind be your friend and your mind is your ally and your mind will give you good ideas instead of just bullshit self-sabotage ideas. Again, I know some people who make a lot of money, they still have the same fears you do. They're worried about their money disappearing. They're worried about something going wrong. So let's re-engineer that and become way more effective. Okay. Now, next point. I think I'm on point 6 or point 7. No. I should get some YouTube person to make this look cooler, right? It's just me sitting here. But again, this is important stuff. And I know people listen to my videos because it's actually what I'm saying, not just because it's flashy. So next one. Um, it goes in line with the last point I was making is your body's a computer. So if we look at body's a computer, there's health. Health is so much more than just going to the gym and making sure you get enough protein. Health is something that's happening on a cellular level, and you have something in your cells called mitochondria. They're not really understood. Again, I'm bringing up this video not so you can go get lost in now researching mitochondria. I'm bringing this up because you're probably neglecting yourself and your physical hardware, and it's sabotaging you. Because if you eat lunch and then you're drained, and now you don't work for an hour or two, you're screwed. Like you're going to get eaten up by your competition, so to speak. But when you can be clear on your life in terms of your thoughts, words, and deeds, and how you're showing up in body and mind, you can become unstoppable, so to speak. Okay, a few more. Um, this idea of 20x factor, I want to come back to it for a moment because this is so important and such a deeper level now. We're going to get super deep, and then I'm going to give you some practical stuff. Here's the deep part. Okay, bravery and courage is at an all-time low. The average guy is afraid of getting canceled now. The average guy will think different than he speaks in public. He will think something like, "Oh, I want to vote for this person, but if I say I'm voting for that person, I'm gonna get haters." Right? Just for example. Or deep down, they actually want to take a stand for something real, but all their like they want to go do shit with their life. But then on the weekends, all their friends go out and drink, and then they get pulled back in with the drinking crowd. Again, another example. Um, your 20x factor is likely going to relate to the words courage and bravery. But you got to figure that out for yourself. I can't figure that out for you in a YouTube video. You got to figure that out for yourself, or we can connect further on that. But it's like, I know it's an extreme phrase, but I'm just going to say it. It's like, what are you willing to die for? I'm not asking you to go put yourself in danger's way. I'm not asking you to go put yourself in a reckless situation. What I am saying is, deep down on a DNA level, you made it here and your ancestors, survived for however long, that you are here. On a DNA level, you are designed to procreate and create a better environment and thrive. But you have survival programming. And survival programming is often in conflict with thriving. So here's the point. That 20x factor, you got to figure out what that is for yourself because you have people around you who are depending on you. They might not tell you that. You might only have surface level relationships with people around you, but I promise you can unlock a whole new level of yourself when you actually start to really give a shit about the world, not just your money. I know you want money and I know you want great relationship or some form of that, right? Where you have that connection with a significant other. I know those two things are driving you. It's not beat around the bush. Let's not be shy about it. That's what drives you as a human. The ability to procreate and the ability to set yourself up for survival. But when you stop looking at just yourself and when you can start to unlock and look at, okay, how do I now care for the people around me? You will find a level of motivation that you never even thought was possible. A lot of you watching this too, you already have kids. What I'm saying is, how well are you doing at your role? Deep down, you're probably like if you're watching this video and you resonate with this, you're not taking all the action you should. There's a lot you're leaving on the field every day, so to speak. So now let's get into two final points I want to make. One is a very cool concept. This is the best term I have for it so far. I'm sure I'll refine it and I'll give a TED talk on it one day. Thought, action, diffusion is this concept. Diffusion. What does diffusion mean? Well, it's the opposite of fusion. So fusion is things coming together. Diffusion is things coming apart. So your thoughts and your actions, think of it like this. You're about to go to bed. You got a you got a vision, man, for tomorrow. You're gonna wake up, you're gonna hit the gym, you're gonna go to work, you're gonna go crush it, right? But then you actually wake up and you're tired and you want to hit snooze, and then you feel guilty for hitting snooze or whatever, right? Or it takes longer to get out of the house than you expected, right? It's a enlightening moment when you realize your thoughts and your actions don't have to be fused together. You can just see them for what they are. So you might have the thought of, I need to sleep in. I am tired. It will be bad if I wake up right now. I got to sleep in more. I'll get sick. Your mind will generate all these reasons. But for you to learn to take action nonetheless. Here's why. The more you strengthen that neural pathways, that behavior, and you condition that, it's liberating, man. Because then you realize you're like, wow, I don't feel like getting out of bed right now. And then you just get out of bed and you stack up another win like that. That right there is how you take action without feeling like it. Because you're clearing your why. You're clearing that 20x factor. You're at grandmaster mode. You have that deep learning activated within you where your mind will start to work for you. You have that ability to overcome the inertia. You're able to be in the zone. You're able to eliminate your distractions so you're in that flow state more easily. Expect this to take a freaking year of your life. Like, it's not an overnight fix because you have millions of programs inside you that are in conflict, right? That's why you feel like shit a lot of the time. That's why you feel resistance, because you have all this conflicting information inside you. You want to be a beast, but you also want to be lazy. You want to think money is abundant, but you also realize like money's not abundant. It's all this conflict, or what I call counterintention. I have a video on counterintention too. I'm happy to share that. So thought action diffusion is where you can decouple that in your mind and you can realize, I can take a deep breath and just go do the thing. And then you do the thing. And it builds up a self-trust. And that self-trust will snowball. I'm at the point now where I can trust myself to do basically anything. I'm smart enough and I'm honest enough with myself that I have the skills I have to learn. But on a baseline level, like, I look at where I was 10 years ago and my level of self-esteem, my level of self-confidence versus now, I know I can go get the right stuff done. Now, there's one other part of this is it's a funny concept. It actually comes from Silicon Valley. Um, but it's this idea of a unicorn. What is a unicorn? If you Google it, yes, I know there's a mythical freaking horse that has a horn on its head. Okay. It's something rare, something unique. In startup world, and the real definition I'm referring to is a unicorn is a billion-dollar company or a company that has a billion-dollar valuation. Again, someone's probably going to fight me on that, but no, technically it's this, right? They have to have a balance sheet of this. Okay, whatever. I'm just saying, you yourself, and especially as a guy, you will so resonate with this as you are your own, you're like a mini company within yourself. You have your board of advisors in your freaking head. You have the product that you are, the product and the service that you bring to the world. Like, you're basically working with reality, and you're either going to just try and take, which I don't recommend, or you can be a value creating machine that people are happy to pay. So now, as you look at that, are you a unicorn or not? Are you worthy of being at whatever level you want? Some of you don't give a shit if you had $1 billion or 100K. But what I'm saying is, can you be that full version of you? Like, can you be full you? Can that come through in every day? I'm here to tell you that it can, but if you don't have the right tools, if you don't have the right process, I promise you this will just be some other motivational video you just watched. And then you're going to go back, the same old same. You might change a little bit for a week, but then you're going to fall on your face again. But if you've been with me throughout this video enough, and you can resonate with this, and you want to go 20x, and you want to be that unicorn level within you, where you can have a $1 billion level of impact. Doesn't mean you have to have $1 billion, but it means you could. You need a process to do that. It's not just a one-time thing when you feel pumped. It's a every single day process, There are two things I have found that have changed my life, and I can share them with you. One is a daily self-reflection process. The other is a very specific way to learn at a high speed. The world is moving faster than ever, and right now we're still walking around with the outdated model of how we learn. We're trying to use our conscious mind to learn. We're trying to focus on things. If you need to learn something, what would you do? Watch YouTube videos, read a blog on it, like try and put yourself around other people. You're still going to use your conscious mind. Remember when you went through school and you just use your conscious mind? How much of school do you remember? 10%? That's what's going to happen with anything you're trying to learn, unless you have a tool in a specific way to get that information inside. So it's at that level. So that, remember earlier I was talking about the quantum deep learning? You can engineer that within yourself, but it's not through just your own willpower. It's not through just thinking. You need specific tools for this. So if you got to the end of this video, there's a couple things that I bring up that can now allow you to go deeper with this. If you resonate with this, send me a message on Facebook. You can either reference, so if you go in the description, you have my name and you have my Facebook. Just send me a message. I check once a day. I check my external inbox. So sometimes get 20 people a day who reach out about this. But if you resonate with this, I want to talk to you because the world needs more leaders, especially guys standing up. And ladies too, don't be shy. It's fine. It's just, again, more guys tend to resonate with this stuff because I'm going to say something that's controversial. Men and women are different. Men love to freaking focus on one thing. Women are really good at focusing on a lot of things at once. Don't believe me? Just if you have kids, watch how your wife interacts with the kids and how you can interact with kids. Again, I'm giving generalizations here, but that's out, right? So for the people who want to focus and really create something real, one, hit me up with the word second brain, and I'll send you that training. It's an in-depth way that I've done this for over 10 years. I used to be paid very well to be a project manager. Essentially, I would build whole systems and how to operationalize everything from how to handle, your emails and inboxes to how to handle social media to how to handle projects to make sure just everything's going forward. I was able to create a digital version of that. Best word I ever found for it is called the second brain. So you don't have to occupy your brain space, which is so valuable. You don't have to occupy that with a bunch of BS and remember, oh, I got to, take the trash out today or whatever. I got to, go to the store. That should not be in your brain. That should be in a system that can help you. So second brain's the first one. And the other one is about those tools that I was telling you about. Ask me. Just say, hey, what are those tools you were talking about in that video about action, taking action? Those things are a game changer. That was the real difference between me just going from hype, watching motivational videos and, kind of reading books. And like, I really did want to change, but it wasn't really lasting to actual real lasting change because it involves your unconscious mind and your subconscious mind. When all of those are working together and you do that month after month after month, you can become, again, unstoppable. But that is how you learn how to take action without feeling like it is. You got to just do it. You got to be focused on the right things with the right mindset coming into it. Then the action you take, you'll make sure you're taking the right action. So I know people who work really, 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 really hard on the wrong stuff. And then they wake up one day and they're 40. And they're like, damn, I literally wasted 15 years doing the wrong thing. I want to be there for that moment. So one, that moment doesn't have to happen for you and you don't have to have regret. But two, even if that moment has happened or you're having that revelation right now, you can now learn from that and now enter that new chapter of your life. And we can do awesome things together and we can create a way better world. And like, I have a huge network of people and I'm happy to introduce you to people, but I want to make sure you're actually teachable and you're ready to actually undergo the process of change so you can take action on the right stuff. All right, cool. If you found this helpful, again, one, message me on Facebook. You can leave a comment, whatever you want to do on YouTube here. But I have a lot more of this stuff coming out and I'm continuously refining my abilities of how to make these the most engaging, awesome videos. So again, my whole purpose of this is I want to help you level up, make a ton of money, and have a really good life so that we can work together on really cool projects together and change the world. But that's my whole starting point of these videos, and I'm going to share as much valuable stuff as I can. But again, it will only go so deep if it's your conscious mind. If you want to get it to the subconscious so it's automatic, hit me up and I'll show you how to do that. All right, see you.